All right, guys, I am at Casablanca here, Santikos, San Antonio. We are going to watch The Acolyte. I guess it comes out like 5 hours early. We're going to watch a special screen here at the theater. It's going to be the first two episodes. I am dressed in my finest Star Wars gear with the General Kenobi's bunker shirt, and we're going to go check it out. All right, guys, we checked in. We're in the theater. They actually gave us like a free popcorn and drink for being here, which was very nice. But guys, in true fashion, we're doing a crossover.
Hello there.
So we're gonna watch these the first two episodes and then do a review and see how it goes. All right, guys, we just got out of the early screening of The Acolyte. We got our vile sensation, General Kenobi's bunker, right here.
Hello there.
We saw the first two episodes of The Acolyte. It's going to drop like in maybe 6 hours on Disney Plus. So we were part of the few that got to see it early. But this is going to be a full spoiler review. So if you do not want to be spoiled, do not watch this video. I cannot stress that enough.
Be warned.
So the first episode starts off with a young, looks like a dark Force user, very young, going up against Carrie Ann Moss. We'll just call her Trinity.
Let's just do that. It's a lot faster too.
It's the Matrix too. So she squares off with her, and she like makes her say like, or she makes her like, you must attack me first. And it's this whole weird thing about I don't have a weapon, you don't have a weapon. Anyways, this young dark Force user just like takes her out and kind of puts her in a bad like Spider-Man, position. Like, will you save Mary Jane? Will you save the kids? Sort of thing like that. And then we immediately get to like they're on some sort of freighter, and a person wakes up that looks exactly like the dark young Jedi, except she's missing a tattoo on her forehead. That's the only thing. So we're getting illusions this is not the same person. We find out that she used to be part of the Jedi Order. She kind of Ahsoka'd it and walked out, as far as we know. But since she looks exactly like the person that murdered the Jedi, she's arrested by the Jedi that come in. She's
Mind you, we did see also she was actually working for the Trade Federation, which I thought was very cool to see Nemodians, back in action. We haven't seen them in a while, and to know that these dudes were already kind of rich and like pricks, like 100 years before already. I thought that was fun. It was a nice touch.
Definitely a good callback to episode 1, especially how that started, and then the series is starting too.
Exactly.
So we get to there. She's arrested, but like some prisoners decide to plan an escape, and she gets basically left out of it. But she crash lands on a planet. Her former Jedi traitor Master Soul. I got this name, Master Soul. He is assigned to bring her in since he is most familiar with her.
From Master Vernestra, by the way, who makes an appearance. If you guys read the books from the High Republic, she's here, live action. She's 118 years old by now. She looks great though for her age, definitely. But she is definitely a high-ranking master by this point.
We'll call her Green Baldy Lady.
There you go.
For now, but Vernestra. Okay,
yeah.
So he finds her on the planet, and he brings her in. Basically, we find out that the young person on the freighter, her name is May, or her name is Osha. But she has a twin sister who was presumed dead. Correct. Which was named May, which is the person that they are after. It looks like she is being trained by some dark master that we don't know about. Exactly. And it's like a real like culty kind of thingy, right? Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird because it's not the regular sort of like...
It's not Sith.
Yeah, it's not the regular master Sith apprentice that we kind of know and love. It's almost like you kind of have to prove yourself to even get trained, type of thing. She has had training though, because she held her own up to a point against the Jedi Master, which is not an easy feat.
Yeah.
And
she was using the Force to move along and her fighting style and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely very much included into her fighting style. So we know she's had training, but I wouldn't call it like Sith training. No lightsaber for her.
No lightsaber. But her master has a red lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he also has a Kylo Ren-ish, Darth Vader-ish helmet too.
Exactly.
So it could be a Knights of Ren sorts of situation, because they're not necessarily directly affiliated with the Sith either.
Correct. Yeah. So there is a theory that it could be the Ren, but we'll see. We'll see if that pans out. But so talking about the show itself, a lot of new stuff in the sense of creatures, in the sense of planets, locations, ships. We did see a couple of familiar ships. You know, if you read or have seen the comic books for the High Republic, you will notice a couple of them. We saw Coruscant, which I thought was cool because we see the Jedi temple, which
Yes.
looks almost the same as what we know, right, from the
Definitely
movies.
shinier.
But I was gonna say, but there's a lot more gold. There are subtle differences here and there.
Yeah.
So it's familiar yet different enough that you will notice. So
A lot of cool stuff. So it's familiar, like I said, but they're trying to make everything kind of look a little bit newer because it's newer because it's this all placed 100 years before A New
episode
Hope
one.
or Episode 1.
Yeah.
So this is we're kind of in the era that we're used to, but this is clearly not. Skipping to Episode 2 real quick, and he made some good points, but just trying to get the summary out of the way. So in Episode 2, we start off with May hunting a new Jedi. Didn't get his name, but we'll call him Floaty Sleepy Guy because he's just floating the entire time. May is trying to attack him, but he is just using the force around him and just not letting it happen.
Yeah, that was kind of cool actually to see. Visually, there's nothing there, right?
Nothing.
But they did a good job, with the music and the sound effects. That she's just punching a wall, right?
Yeah.
She cannot get through to him. She tries different angles of attack. Nothing is panning out.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see. Again, visually, something we haven't really seen. We know Jedi of old, would take vows of deep meditation, right? And it seems that this master in particular took one of those because it is mentioned that it's been 10 years, right, since he talked to anybody.
Yeah.
So
he's been basically like secluded himself from everybody, cut himself off from the world. So they cut back to Osha and the crew that captured her. They're basically saying she's no longer a prisoner because this other event happened over here, and they realize that she is not the killer that they are looking for.
Correct.
So May goes to this weapons dealer, I guess is the best way you can call him, but he seems very familiar with May. He seems very familiar with the master, and he concocts her a poison to be used. There's some other things that happen. I won't go into every single detail, but what ends up happening is May uses the poison on the master. We find out that she is hunting 4 Jedi masters for revenge. And this master...
And we don't know exactly for what, though.
We don't know exactly for what.
Just clarifying that, but we know it's 4 of them. The first master, Carrie Ann Moss, Trinity, she was one of those.
Yeah.
This floaty guy is another one. And we learn that Jedi Master Soul, who is the twin sisters, Osha, former master, he's on the list.
Yep. And then Wookiee Jedi is the 4th one.
Exactly.
You know the name. What's the name?
Kalnaka.
There we go. So apparently this sleepy, floaty Jedi guy is very upset about something, and this is why he went into seclusion. And she gives him the poison and said, if you take the poison, I forgive you.
Right.
And he just takes the poison.
Yeah, willingly.
Like, we've never seen anything like that in Star Wars.
Right.
It was sad and kind of very, very shocking. We find out that May thinks Osha is dead. And then from the previous episode, Osha had previously thought May was dead until she realized someone was like hopping around looking like her.
Exactly.
Apparently, everyone thought May was dead because May started a fire on her home planet that killed everyone except for apparently them 2. So, and she was responsible for this fire as far as we know. And it looks like she's hunting these Jedi because maybe she is trying to get revenge about Osha, but now they actually become face to face with one another, and it's a very confusing thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of the stuff was revealed almost right away, I would say, when the show started, which is good because it's a lot of stuff that we kind of already knew from all the promotional stuff, from all the theories out there. But at the same time, it also raised new questions, right? So
we don't know who the master is.
Exactly. So we don't know who the master is, and that's fine. We're not supposed to know, I don't think, in the first episode or second episode. But there are some discrepancies, right, in the story. We don't know exactly what the fire was or who started it,
or what it's about.
Exactly. And I'm questioning, of course, how many people actually perished there, if there's any family still left, right, since both of them did make it out. And the most obvious question at this point is why those 4 Jedi, right? We know that those 4 Jedi were stationed at their home planet, right, Osha's and May's.
Yep.
But what happened, right? What happened? What did they do to make May hate them, so much to the point of seeking revenge? So.
Yeah. And then, honestly, watching these 2 episodes, it is really, really cool seeing a Jedi story that's not focused around the Skywalkers. Another thing is this is really expensive. Like you can see,
Oh
like
yeah.
they spent a lot of money on this stuff. This is high quality. The storytelling is good. The thing is with Star Wars shows is they always start off really well. It's just the question whether they can keep up the entire time throughout the series. How many episodes are there?
8.
8 episodes.
Yeah. So we got
So
left 6 left.
I have to say, watching these first 2 episodes were really good. They raised new questions, like he said, but we are only first two. We weren't watching a movie. It felt like we were watching a movie because
Yeah,
we're in the
it did.
theater, but we were only meant to see only a little bit of what we're supposed to see. So I think it's really good. Definitely want to see episode 3 next week on Disney Plus. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. If you've gotten this far and you just wanted the spoilers to get an idea of what's going on, I mean, basically the Jedi's are like very, very, very just clean, polished of what you see from episode 1. Imagine everything Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan can do, just doing it with so much more ease and just making it look so much more better. The movement, the fighting, the everything techniques is just like effortless for every Jedi that has a fight in this show so far. So this is meant like this is supposed to be the height of the Jedi, sort of so to speak, before they realize that the dark side is taking more place in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be very interesting to see that going forward. Um, what really is going on, because some of them they're kind of stiff, right? I mean, they're kind of like sticklers for rules, down to a T. So it's going to be interesting to see how those characters will develop and maybe get out of their shell a little bit more,
Yeah.
or maybe just show us what's really going on with the Jedi Order. So, like I said, a lot of potential. We don't know too much about this period of the saga, which is great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
about time that we had some stuff that we just don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for it. Like Daniel said, hopefully they can stick the landing for the rest of the season. They're off to a good start, but let's see if it keeps going that way.
Yeah, and I agree. All the characters so far, I think, have really shown they've done really well. May Osha, I know how everybody feels about female leads in shows nowadays, but these characters work. They're doing really well. At least in these first 2 episodes, I thought everything was portrayed really well. So that's going to be the end of our review. Go check out the episodes for yourself if you haven't already. If you're watching this a day early, I mean, I'm sorry to spoil it, but you were warned.
Yep.
All right. See y'all for the next one.